Hello and welcome to a special episode of the Fixing Football podcast. Tonight with me is Liam O'Meara and we are going to preview a massive weekend for Bolton Wanderers. Liam, how are you?
Nervous, Martin. Very nervous.
It's going to be a big one. So we're a year down the line from the last Wembley trip, but are you more nervous for this one than you was the last one?
100%. The last Wembley trip, beforehand, I remember talking about it in the pub. Not at the game, but a couple of weeks beforehand, because there was massive build-up for that. We had weeks before the final. And what was unique about that Wembley trip was the idea that you could go to Wembley, and if you lose, it's not the end of the world. That's the thing about that trophy. It was great that we won it, and we won it in fucking style, by the way. But it wasn't the end of the world. This is very fucking different.
A lot riding on this one.
Yeah, exactly. The club is geared to being a championship club now. They've done a lot of changes, which we've talked about in previous podcasts, that about being a championship level club.
Yeah.
They need to be in there. And this is a massive opportunity to do that by beating a team that theoretically aren't as good as us. Let's be frank about this. Now, anything can happen on a day. We'll get into what we think is going to happen in a minute, but we have got an opportunity to get in a championship by beating a club that is not as good as us.
Finished, was it 10 points more than them? What it finished like in the league?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. And we beat them 5-0 in March as well.
Yeah. They've come through a tough tie. They had obviously Barnsley had the toughest tie because they finished bottom and you finished top in the playoff groups. But Peterborough were right on form coming into the playoffs, and Oxford really had it up against them. They weren't expected to get a result, and they've pulled it off against Peterborough. Do you think that they could be riding on that? Do you think that they could be dangerous, or do you think Bolton's confidence will come from them previous meetings that you've had?
They're not mugs. Like they're a very good team. Like we're not playing some like absolute no marks here. We're talking about a team that finished fifth in the league, so they do have that. And you're right, they beat Peterborough over two legs. Kind of rode the luck a little bit, particularly in the second leg, I would say, against Peterborough. However, they're there on merit, and of course they can beat us. I think something we've talked about quite a lot in the previous episodes is the unique thing about the playoffs, which it's obvious, but you do forget it, is that these teams were very close to each other. It's a cup with no shit teams in it. Like it's going to be a competitive final. Yes, we beat them 5-0 in March, but this is a very different game now. This is a lot riding on it, like you say. So yeah, they probably will have some confidence, and they'll come there thinking that they can win it. Absolutely.
Obviously, not as they'll almost be treating it like the home side, being Oxford, not too far from Wembley in comparison to Bolton's journey down there. So they've got the box park as well, haven't they, on Wembley Road?
Sticking it in with that fucking box park. Who's got the box park? Oh, I've heard for 2 weeks. And to be fair, it is a good location where it is. I walked past it last year. It looks good where it is.
Yeah, it's top. Yeah.
I'd love to go in, but we've not got it both times now. I don't know how they decide it. I think there's an element of whoever sold the most tickets at the point they decide. I think that's what it comes down to. I understand Oxford have sold slightly, and I think there's very small amount in it. Slightly more from us than us on there. But they've had a bit of criticism for that, because I think they've only got something like a few thousand season ticket holders, but I've got no issue with that kind of stuff. Like, if you're from Oxford and you have an interest in it, why not go? Like, it's 40 miles down the road. I would have no issue if people like yourself, I think you went to the final last year.
I did.
I've got absolutely no issue with that. The more the merrier. I think the attendance is going to be looking around the 65,000 mark. That's what you want. You want people there like that. It wants to be feel like an occasion.
Of course, yeah.
So I've got no issue, and yeah, I would have liked to have seen Box Park. I've heard a lot about it. Apparently, it is quite a good place to go. But maybe next year.
So where do the Bolton fans get, or have they been allocated? Because they get somewhere else, don't they?
Oh God, yeah. So I can't remember the list. It's segregated into two separate lists, I believe. So
right,
I get one or the other. It's the same grounds that we went to last year, which includes the Torch and the Crock of Gold, which is where I had beers last year. I was in the Crock of Gold last year. I remember those two because they're next door to each other. There are others. There's a list on the Bolton News website if you're a Bolton fan listening to this and thinking, where can I have a beer beforehand? And you've also got a fan zone, I believe, this time. Now, I don't remember that being there last time. That doesn't mean it wasn't. It's such a big place, Wembley. You don't really know what's going on anywhere. But there is a fan zone outside the Bolton end as well.
Yes, there was that last time. I remember that's right near where the entrance was, where I got into the stadium. So
did you go?
fans...
Did you see that? I no,
yeah.
I'm interested. Like, how big was it?
It wasn't crazy big. A few hundred could have got in there. It wouldn't have taken 5,000 if they wanted to go in, but a few hundred people, and there's live music and stuff like that. So I think it's if you want to be in one of them fan areas close to the stadium, it's probably wise to get there as early as you can.
Yeah, it's not great. I think that's the thing with Wembley. Like, getting a beer around there can be quite tricky.
Yeah.
So we were lucky with the Crock of Gold, how it turned out. We managed to get in there.
Where will you be hosting the live Q&A pre-match? Where will you be holding court?
If I was going to do anything live, I would probably do it when I'm still in Watford, because our plan is to get down to Watford and get the train from there. And there's an Irish pub right next to Watford Junction train station that we will be going to. I would probably do it at that point where I'm having a beer there, a bit more in a relaxed setting. But I can't promise I'll be doing anything live.
I don't know about other fans, and we'll get onto the match in a minute, but I did really rate the transport access in and out. We stopped. I can't remember the name of the station that we stopped at, but we parked up outside of Wembley area and got the tube in, or the overground in.
Stanmore's the other one that a lot of people...
Might have been that. Yes, I think it was that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Parking at Stanmore was a nightmare, to be fair, but getting... if you get in the coach down, then you get in the coach down and you'll just enjoy that bit. And I hope people on the coach are listening. If you listen to this on your way down, I appreciate it. Liam, let's get into the match a little bit. Who is, aside from Dion Charles, who is going to be Bolton's main man in this match? Who's going to be the key player for Bolton?
It's a pretty obvious answer for any Bolton fans that are listening. For those that aren't Bolton fans, I would say Aaron Collins is probably going to be the man Bolton are looking for. It took him a little bit of time to get used to the new system. I think he'd been at Bristol Rovers for quite a few years.
Yeah.
Playing a more natural sort of left wing, inside forward type position. So he's had to adapt to Bolton's 5-3-2. But now he has, and he's sort of got a bit more of a free rein forward position. He's been brilliant.
Playing in a two really suits him. And I think it suits Charles as well.
Yeah, it's taking the pressure off Charles. And I also, I don't know Charles personally, but I get the feeling that Charles isn't the kind of person that is enjoying Aaron Collins' form. And I feel like it's driving him on, and that's what you want. Like, you want that rivalry between your forwards.
Got that Teddy Sheringham used to hate anyone outscoring him, and he never got on with his strike partners famously. So I think there's a bit of that.
You kind of want that. So yeah, I think Aaron Collins could be the difference maker for Bolton.
And have you got stuff in net sorted out? Because I know you've had a mashup of goalkeepers over the season, but your main guy, I'm not sure of his name because it eludes me at the moment. But talk to me about goalkeeper who you're expecting in net.
Nathan Baxter. He's back and he's picked up where he left off. He's a brilliant goalkeeper, really, really good. Obviously, for those that don't know, he was picked up on a free from Chelsea, released by Chelsea young. And he was wanted by quite a lot of Israeli teams, top flight Israeli teams on his release, but chose to stay in England with us, and we've been very, very lucky. I think he's playing below his level, to be completely honest. We've been blessed with goalkeepers recently. Obviously, we had Trafford on loan, which got a lot of attention. But for me, Baxter's a better goalkeeper than Trafford. I think we're very, very lucky. And I think Everett has almost alluded early in the season that really us keeping him depends on us going up. Now, whether that's a clause in his contract or something along those lines, I don't know. But he's been brilliant. And I think his performances against Barnsley in both games sort of on that, really. Like, he probably was... I think we deserved to go through, but he probably was the difference maker in the end.
And, right, so speaking of big performances in the playoffs, someone who stood out to me, and he has done most times I've watched Bolton with any real intent, but Santos at the back, El Capitano, he looks, you know what, he looks like a typical Bolton centre-back from the good old days. He looks like he would have fit in the good old days of Bolton Wanderers Premier League run. I'm not saying he's Premier League level, but he just has that look about him. He looks like a man amongst a lot of League One players. He's been massive for you, especially since he come back from injury.
He has, and I think sometimes he gets some unfair stick, Santos, because he is prone to mistake. So, like, for example, in the playoffs, I think when we were pretty comfortable at 2-1 the leg, he gave the ball away that essentially led to Barnsley levelling the game up and making it horrific. And he has had that in him, but it isn't as common as people will have you believe. He can be a pretty dominating player at the back that allows Bolton to overcommit. So they play this free at the back, which usually can be quite defensive. However, the system allows, particularly Gethin Jones at right centre-back, to push forward into midfield. So that's where Bolton make up the numbers. They'll have Dacus Cogley, who will stay from a right wing position. He will stay out wide. Bolton a very wing attack type team.
Yeah.
Quite old-fashioned in that. You don't see that too much nowadays. But what will happen is, to make up the lack of bodies that creates in centre midfield, is Gethin Jones will step up when we're in possession into centre midfield. So that's where they then make that up. But the gap that then leaves on the right-hand side, because of Santos's essential pace, strength, size, he can sweep very, very competently and essentially makes up for that in a way that, obviously not comparing them, but for non-Bolton fans, and a similar system to when Liverpool were at their best, how Van Dijk could make up for Trent Alexander-Arnold, essentially.
Yeah.
Really playing right back. He could essentially, like, at the best, it's a similar setup. But it means, yeah.
Right, so let's just have I wanted to mention Owen Toll. I never know how to say his name. There's too many vowels in his name for me.
Fair.
But he's my favourite Bolton player. He looks like he looks like I'm not going to say he's the most technically gifted player you've ever had, but he just looks like someone you'd want in your corner. He comes up with some clutch goals. He's quite dynamic on the ball. You could probably slot him into a holding midfield role, and he's played right back, left back, he's played centre back, he plays in that three. I think he's been a great sign. I think he's quite a key player. He's quite underrated, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely underrated, I'd say, outside of Bolton. I think Bolton fans talent, but I think Santos does grab the headline to those. I think Santos catches the eye. When we play a lot of teams, you'll see afterwards how good is that Santos of Bolton, for example. And maybe we take that for granted a little bit of San, so maybe it's a little bit of a unfair cut because of that. But Owen Toll, I think what he can do on the ball is something that really catches the eye. He's really composed in possession, which is really important for us, obviously based on the way that we play. But he's also very competent in the air, and like you say, he is good for a goal, which we weren't particularly good at set pieces prior to his signing. He has made us a lot more dangerous on set pieces. It's not a surprise that he probably scored. Well, he did score the winning goal theoretically against Barnsley.
Yeah.
He's always capable of doing that because he attacks the ball in a way that other Bolton players don't at set pieces. He's been a brilliant signing for next to nothing from Ireland as well.
Yeah,
I believe he was scouted by Owen Doyle when he went over there. Part of the deal when he left Bolton was that he would be still almost like an unofficial scout of Bolton.
Yeah.
And I believe that's how that transfer came about, which is, some coup really for Bolton. if we don't go up, he's a very saleable asset, as is Santos, who it was reported today, and I didn't realise this was a thing, that he's yet to sign a new contract, Santos, and his contract's up next summer.
Wow.
And I didn't know that, and it weren't something that was on my radar that was a thing. But to be talking about that 2 days before Wembley suggests that it really is a thing, and that so even going up may not be enough for him to sign a new contract. Is the messages coming through? So that could be quite an interesting one to watch over the summer, promotion or not. What happens with Santos, really?
Essentially, yes, but you can also see from a player's point of view that they think if we get in the Championship, that's the time to get that new contract signed, when they know that the money's coming in and there's going to be a bit more cash flying around, a bit more spare Wonga to be had by, and hopefully them players who got you there are the ones who get rewarded.
Yeah, now, I wouldn't blame that. I also think the club's perspective, I think Santos would be 27, 28, that sort of age,
right.
off the top of my head. If we're going to sell him at some point, now is the time to sell him, I would probably say as well.
Rather than that next massive contract that takes him, maybe past his peak and then he's unsellable really at 32 or whatever.
So I think there's a lot of decisions to be made for everyone there, maybe.
Fair. Let's have a quick talk about Oxford. Is there anyone in particular who you see as their main threat? And other main goal scorers? All their main goals have come from midfield, really.
Yeah.
Cameron Brannigan and Mark Harris are their sort of top 2 goal scorers this season.
Yeah.
And I also noticed that they've got Marcus McGuinn, a former Arsenal lad who I think he only made 1 or 2 appearances for Arsenal, and then he went to Barcelona for 18 months. But he didn't. I think he played 1 first team match for them. He mainly featured for Barcelona B, and then he's floated around some of the clubs in League 1 and 2, but he seems to have made a home in Oxford. So that he's a talented player. I don't know how well he's doing at Oxford, but like I said, talent in midfield, is that the area that you think is the most dangerous for them?
Definitely. In terms of the big matchup, I would say, is probably Cameron Brannigan versus George Thomason. That is probably the matchup of this, really.
I'm putting Thomason to get a yellow card. I would put £100 on Thomason getting a yellow card in this match.
Yeah, that's going to be some battle. He very much dictates their game, and he's also a really good defensive shield. So, if you were going to sort of go off what you expect this game to go like, it's Bolton to hold a lot of the ball, and Oxford look to hit Bolton on the break, be good in the transfer on those transfers of possession.
Yeah,
Brannigan's key to that in terms of interceptions, winning the ball off a heavy touch, that type of stuff. He's all over that. He's brilliant at it. So, those first touches that those Bolton players take in midfield, particularly Thomason and McGoma, that's where, if I was Oxford, I'd be looking to target. And there's no secrets here. I'm not giving away the super master plan to Oxford. I think these teams know each other inside out. Like that's where this game will be won and lost. If Bolton can retain possession in those sort of deeper Oxford positions in front of the back and where Brannigan's operating, they'll win the game.
Right. A couple more questions for you, and then we'll wrap it up. First one, what do you think Ian Evatt does anything special, different, or goes super obvious for this match? Do you think he's got something up his sleeve, or is it Bolton's way or the highway?
It's definitely Bolton's way or the highway. He did. I don't want to be too harsh, because he did change how he played a little bit in the first leg against Barnsley. He did allow them to have possession more than you would normally see, on the basis, I think, that it stopped the Barnsley press, which has been a big problem for us to deal with. Barnsley have had our number for years. I think I've talked about this.
Yeah.
Before the playoffs last year, I think I said that. I didn't expect us to get through that game because Barnsley were better than us. I didn't think that would be the case this year, but it was well managed by Evatt, because essentially, instead of keeping the ball in midfield, they went with balls over the top for Dion Charles to chase, to try and get them, basically to take their midfield out of the game.
Yeah.
Will we change who we play against Oxford? I'd be surprised. I reckon I could name our team pretty much now in terms of what we start. So it'll be Baxter in net. It'll be Owen Toll left centre back, Santos centre back, Gethin Jones right centre back. Right wing back will be Josh Dacus-Cogley. Left wing back will be Rando Williams. Be a midfield three of Josh Sheehan, centre defensive midfield, playing in that sort of ball retention position.
Yep.
And it'll be Magoma and Thomason. He may think about playing Dempsey over Magoma, although I don't think he will because Magoma's form's too good at the moment. So it'll be Thomason and Magoma in those two midfield advanced midfield positions, that double eight, if you will, that Arsenal like to play as well with Odegaard and Rice. And it'll be two up front, it'll be Collins, and it will be Dion Charles. I would be absolutely shocked if it's a different lineup than that.
Yeah, I actually think you're spot on. Dempsey, only because of his, basically I think his performance last year at Wembley might give him a bit of a nod, bit of just something about it.
It's just a maybe for the sake of doing something different. But to do that, you have to take Magoma out, who is probably, form-wise anyway, our best player.
Yeah,
I don't think you can do that.
He's had a great end to the season. He's had a good season in general, but it was a great end to the season as well, especially
exactly.
so.
That's definitely true. He's been good, but these last few games he's been exceptional. Exceptional.
Well, that leads me on nicely to your prediction.
Oh.
So we've got a full lineup prediction. I'm not sure how Oxford usually line up, but I can go for it. So we don't really care about that. This isn't an Oxford podcast. No one gives a shit about them. What is your score prediction? Are Bolton going to get it done in regulation time for a start? Is everyone going to be able to get the booked trains home? Or do you think it could
get home for the Fury Usyk fight? Maybe.
Yeah, that's the plan. I'll give you mine first, so you can go off it.
Please do. Yeah.
I'm going 3-0. I'm going an early goal for Bolton, and I think it's done by our time.
Okay. I mean, I would like that. That would be nice. I think it will be similar, but I think it'll be 2-1 instead of 3-0. But I think it'll be a similar game than what you're saying there. I think Bolton will start fast and maybe go 2-0 up within 20 minutes. But then I suspect the game might drift. And then maybe you get an Oxford goal around the 60th minute or so. And it just becomes quite a tight affair from there on in. But a very similar, almost the same game you're saying at 3-0, I think.
Yeah. I think you're being conservative there. Luke will have only put £100 bet on by the time you hear this, because that's what it does if you predict something.
I've now said Bolton will win. I've now promised that Bolton will win. That's how it works, isn't it? But yeah, I do think we'll win. But I'm not sitting, I want to be very clear, I'm not sitting in that arrogant position of, we'll definitely win, we're Bolton Wanderers, they're Oxford. It's not like that. We should win. We're the favourites.
Yes.
We have the better team on paper. And we're playing well. We come into the playoffs with form, and we're playing well. So, yeah, Bolton win 2-1. So,
just checking on the bookies as well, Oxford are 3-1 as an away win, and Bolton are 17-20. Odds on favourites.
Well, yeah. I mean, that doesn't help my nerves, but
Foley will be having a double cash out day, I think.
Yeah, he will be. He will be. I wonder what his cash out is? No.
He's not updated us on the cash out, but he did inform us that it was included in the playoffs about promotion, so he's been eyeing up his new shoes. He'll be all over it. So, hopefully, Bolton fans will be listening to this on their way down, travelling safe to Wembley, or Friday night, whenever you want to listen to it. But I wish you and Bolton all the luck in the world, Liam, for Saturday, and I'll take that with me for Sunday because we all West Ham beat City.
Well, I was going to say that. Obviously we're not doing a preview for that, but you've obviously got the big game on Sunday. Is it 4:30? Are they all 4:30 kickoffs?
They're all 4:30, yeah, and I am. Well, my vision can't come true anymore about us winning on goal difference, but
can it
in
not?
fact, no, it can. Yeah, it can. It can still happen. A West Ham draw, yeah.
A West Ham draw and you win.
Yep.
But you need to. What is the goal difference then? You need to win by a few
No,
now.
we're still 3 ahead. So
Right.
a draw would obviously is no goals either way. So, yeah. So we can win on goal difference or by a point. But
I don't want to put you in false hope, but West Ham are no mugs. I feel like West Ham have been written off a little bit easily in this game.
West Ham are sunburnt. They've been on the beach that long. They've not had anything to play for a while. So, listen, I'm not holding out much hope, but where there is hope, you'll find a smiling, hopeful Martin Naylor.
Good luck.
Yeah. Right. What is your message to the Bolton fans on their way down?
Oh, good question. Let me know if the crock of gold is full. Or where you can get a beer, because that is the one thing that stresses me out about Wembley, where you can get a pint.
Bolton fans, please make it known. Put it in the WhatsApp groups. Put it on Twitter. Tag @FixingFootball and we'll share everything. But let us know where you're going to be at. Liam is going to get around and have his picture taken with as many of you as possible.
Well, no, I need to drink enough to be able to watch this game because I couldn't. I didn't see any of the Barnsley second leg really. I missed both our goals because I was just an anxious mess and went for a pint. So before the game, I need to drink enough to be able to watch it. So if you're there and you're like, they're letting people in and you can get a beer, just at us and it will get to me and I will go there.
There you go. Please, everyone, stay safe on your trip down there. Do Bolton proud. And yeah, please share this amongst yourselves, amongst fans. If you put it in your WhatsApp groups, on Twitter, Facebook, wherever, share this around so other Bolton fans can listen and join in. Do all the liking and sharing, and we'll keep in contact throughout the day as best as possible. We want, hopefully, Bolton to become a championship club. Keep that money rolling in, get them flying up the leagues, and get them back to where they belong. Good luck, Liam. Enjoy.
Thank you. Right. Good luck to you too, Martin, on Sunday.
Hopefully, Monday night's podcast is going to be an absolute belter. We've got a championship club and some Premier League.
Yeah, Luke will not be turning up for that podcast, I bet.
Well, he'll be shoe shopping, won't he? So he'll be busy that night. Right. Have a good one. Much love, guys. Good luck.